Welcome to the RavensSpace on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is RavensSpace Daily, where we talk about Baltimore Ravens news every single weekday. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Please subscribe to RavensSpace on YouTube if you're not subscribed, and a special shout out to our Patreon subscribers for always having our back. Now we're going to hop into the news story of the day, and the first news is about Marlon Humphrey, and he will make his preseason debut this week against the Miami Dolphins. Everybody was waiting for him to play, especially the people who watch these videos. I know you guys, the hardcore Ravens fans, really wanted to see how he held up. And I think he'll get a chance to play. I think he'll be a starter this week, so you'll get a chance to see him early. I'm super excited. A lot of talk has been going around training camp that Marlon Humphrey has been playing better than Brandon Carr and is making a real bid to become a starter. And so I'm super excited to see what happens here. Marlon Humphrey is a tall, long cornerback, and that's where he's at his best, where he can make those plays in the zone. The tricky part is that he does get beat deep, and so in college he did, at least, and so that might happen again, but we'll see. I'm super excited to see him play. You guys have to let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll make this the question of the day down in the comments so you guys can answer it. I just think that I'm super excited to see him play. He's the first round pick. Again, you have to hit on first round picks or you won't be a GM in this league long. Ozzie Newsome has showed he can hit on these first round picks. Now it's time for him to prove it again. And from all the talk coming out of training camp, Marlon Humphrey's a good one. He's exactly what you wanted out of a corner coming out of Alabama. And now we finally get to see him play at that level. So I'm super, super excited. Again, he was injured last game, so he did not play. And so slow start to his career, but now against Jay Cutler of all people, he gets to make his start, and there will be a lot of passes in the air. So hopefully he'll have a chance to take one back to the house. I'm hoping all goes well. Let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about this story. I'm super excited about Marlon Humphrey. Super, super duper excited. And the next thing we're going to talk about isn't much of a story, but more of an announcement. We here at the RavensSpace will be doing live podcasts. So what does that mean? What's a live podcast? So basically, we will be doing podcasts over Google Hangouts and different things like that, and we'll be broadcasting it live. It'll probably be about an hour long, and what we're going to do is we're going to ask you guys, the audience, to be a part of it in two ways. The first way is that we'll have a question segment where we want you guys to come on the live stream and send in your questions for the question segment. You guys come into the live stream. It's going to be at a time where we think it's available to people everywhere. We're going to try. This week it might be a little more difficult because we're just doing this thing for the first time. But in the future, we're trying to get to a point where all you guys can come and join and talk about the Ravens with us. So that'd be the first thing. The second thing that we want you guys to help us with is we want you guys to be a part of the show. Every week, we're going to try to have one audience person, one viewer, one person who reads the content on TheRavensSpace.com to come and join the show, and we'll talk to you guys about the Baltimore Ravens. So we're gonna have you guys on for the entire show. You're gonna be a guest. We're gonna ask you questions. We're gonna ask your opinion about the Baltimore Ravens. If you guys ever seen a fan talk, it's very similar to that, but in a different form. So you'll have me, Steven, and whoever the special guest for that week is. And the way it's gonna work is that first chance goes out to a Patreon subscriber. If Patreon subscribers say no, then we'll open up to you guys. I'll let you guys know, in the next coming weeks what's going to happen there. So I'll give you guys a date tomorrow if we do it this week, but we'll definitely be doing it in the future. So this is a special announcement. So if you guys want to be on the podcast, please let me know down in the comments below. Show your excitement, and we'll try to get you guys queued up for the show. And the next story is about the Ravens preseason ranking. And so this is a preseason story, like a very, very, meaningless story. But I think it does show one thing that we can hope for. And the story is that the Ravens have the best defense in the preseason. And what does that mean, really? Not much, but I can tell you that it shows the depth that the Ravens have, especially at defensive line. And now, even at defensive back, we thought that the depth was hurt at defensive back because of the injuries to Maurice Kennedy and to Tavon Young. But as you can see, we have players like Hill who stepped up and made plays consistently. And so I'm excited to see how they progress and how they mature. And now we are one of the deepest defenses in the NFL. We have great players at each level. And I really do think that we can play with a lot of teams, even with our backups in. So again, we are the #1 defense in the preseason. Now, it's only been one game. We'll see how it holds up. We dominated the Redskins on defense, and now hopefully we go and dominate the Miami Dolphins on defense. Again, this is a light story. I didn't want to put too much weight in it. That's why I put it at the very end. But again, it shows you that Dean Pease is coaching these kids up very nicely, and they really have a chance to be special in the NFL. So I'm super excited to see how that all plays out. And like we do on most of our Raven Space dailies, we have a mailbag question that comes from you guys, the Raven Space community. If you want to send in a question, please send it to TheRavensSpace@gmail.com. We have the email address in the description below, so please check it out. Now, this question comes from Quinn, and Quinn asks, "Hi Jason, I'm a huge fan of the channel, watch it every day. I was wondering, how do you compare our defenses to other great defenses in the league?" Quinn, thank you so much for your question, and thank you so much for your support and watching the channel. So in my opinion, Quinn, I think we're a top 5 defense. Now, there are several very talented defenses that I do believe are ahead of us currently right now, but at worst, we're a top 5. So the teams that I think are going to be super talented and hard to say we're better than is one, the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks, in my opinion, have the best secondary in NFL. When Cam Chancellor is playing at his top level, they're unstoppable, along with their safety, their other safety. Of course, you have Richard Sherman. It's just when they're all playing great, they're playing great. They have a mean forefront at the top. So I think they're the best. Now, second best, I think, is the Patriots. I think the Patriots have come a long way. We usually think of them as, Tom Brady first, which is true, but they are very, very, very good. They are one of the great defenses in the league, in my opinion, right now. Follow them up with the Houston Texans. Now, they did lose a step because they lost AJ Bouye, but you have to remember they get back JJ Watt, and JJ Watt's going to be a monster. I think this year. They have one of the best edge combinations coming off with Clowney and Watt. I just don't know how teams are going to block them. So I do think that they are still right now a little bit better than we can say, because they've done it and they've proved it. Then you got the Ravens, in my opinion. The Ravens are a team that I think is good right now. They still have to prove it, but the strength is in the safeties, which means the strength is how much pressure do you get, right? So again, when you have pressure, your cornerbacks can play physical and your safeties can protect. And what that does is that forces quarterbacks to make bad throws, which results in interceptions, and of course, sacks and different things like that. So I'm excited to see what happens. I do think that the Ravens defense will be a top 5 defense. A lot of people think the Denver Broncos are going to be good. I think the Denver Broncos have a lot of holes on defense. So I'd actually put them at 5 and put the Ravens at 4. And I think that that's where I am right now going into the season. So if the Ravens had Tavon Young in that slot position, they would move up maybe a spot for me, because they would have a nickel corner that I think performed as a top 10 cornerback last year, maybe top 15, maybe definitely a top tier cornerback last year in the slot position. So push them higher. But right now, number 4 is where I think we are. I think there are 3 teams in front of us: the Patriots, the Seahawks, and the Houston Texans. So thank you so much for your question, Quinn. And that is the end of today's Raven Space Daily. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to Raven Space on YouTube if you're not yet subscribed. Check out our Patreon page, where we try to give you guys as much as we can. In return, you can help support us. Please check out our t-shirt store if you want to support us a different way, where you can buy a Raven Space t-shirt. Follow us on different social media. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.